My life used to feel simple. Every morning, I woke up beside my wife, Rachel. Every evening, I came home to Rachel and our son, Noah. I worked hard, paid the bills, and believed everything was fine. At least, that was what I kept telling myself. Dad, are you coming to my game on Saturday? Noah asked during dinner. Of course I am, I said. I wouldn't miss it. Noah smiled. Rachel glanced at her phone. Everything okay? I asked. Just work, Rachel replied. Lately, that had become Rachel's favorite answer. Just work. For months, Rachel had been coming home late. Every time I asked why, Rachel blamed deadlines, meetings, and demanding clients. I believed every word. My mother didn't. A few days earlier, my mother had called me. Ethan, something feels wrong. My mother said. What do you mean? I mean, Rachel has changed. I sighed. Mom, Rachel is working hard. Working hard doesn't explain everything. You're worrying too much. My mother was quiet for a moment. Maybe, my mother finally said, I hope I'm wrong. I thought Rachel was simply exhausted. I thought our family was strong. I was wrong. That evening seemed normal at first. Rachel rushed around the kitchen while getting ready. I have to go back to the office, Rachel said. Again? I'm sorry. You worked late 3 nights this week. I know. I forced a smile. When will you be home? Rachel hesitated. Probably tomorrow morning. I laughed nervously. An all-nighter? Big project. I walked closer. Everything okay? Rachel kissed my cheek. Everything is fine. Noah entered the room. Mom, are you leaving again? Rachel knelt beside Noah. I have to work, sweetheart. You always work. Rachel looked hurt. I'll make it up to you. Promise? I promise. Rachel grabbed her purse and headed for the door. Love you, Rachel said. Love you too, I replied. A few seconds later, Rachel was gone. Noah finished dinner and went upstairs. The house felt strangely quiet. I cleaned the table and sat on the couch. To pass the time, I turned on the television. A news anchor appeared on the screen. Breaking news tonight. I barely paid attention. Then everything changed. We are receiving new information regarding an investigation involving missing company funds. I looked up. The screen showed flashing police lights outside a luxury hotel. The reporter continued speaking. Authorities are questioning several individuals connected to businessman Victor Hale. I frowned. The camera moved toward the hotel entrance. Then I stopped breathing. Rachel appeared on the screen. My wife. Rachel walked out of the hotel, surrounded by reporters. What? I whispered. The remote slipped from my hand. No. I moved closer to the television. The footage replayed. Rachel was there. There was no mistake. The reporter spoke again. Several people were seen leaving the hotel shortly before investigators arrived. My heart pounded. What is going on? The camera zoomed in. Rachel wasn't alone. A man wearing an expensive suit walked beside Rachel. The two looked familiar with each other. Far too familiar. I stared at the screen. No. No. The reporter continued. Victor Hale has not commented on the allegations. My hand shook. I immediately grabbed my phone. Rachel answered every call. Always. This time, Rachel didn't. The call went to voicemail. I called again. Nothing. Again. Nothing. Again. Still nothing. Come on, Rachel. I sent a text. Where are you? No reply. I sent another. I just saw the news. Call me. Nothing. Minutes passed. The silence felt unbearable. I called Daniel, my best friend. Daniel answered immediately. Hey, Ethan. Daniel. I need you to turn on the news. What happened? Just do it. A few seconds passed. Then Daniel spoke. Oh my God. You see Rachel? Yeah. I don't understand. What are you going to do? I don't know. Maybe there's an explanation. I laughed bitterly. Does that look like an explanation to you? Daniel stayed quiet. I'm heading out, I said. Where? To that hotel. Ethan, slow down. I can't. Think before you do something reckless. I need answers. I ended the call. My phone remained silent. No messages. No calls. Nothing from Rachel. I looked at a family photo sitting on the shelf. Rachel was smiling. Noah was laughing. I looked happy. Now, that picture felt like a lie. My chest hurt. Questions kept racing through my head. Why was Rachel there? Who was that man? Why had Rachel lied? I grabbed my keys. Part of me wanted to stay home. Part of me was terrified of the truth. But I couldn't sit there pretending everything was normal. Not anymore. I walked outside and got into my car. The engine started. Rain began hitting the windshield. I opened Rachel's contact one more time. No answer. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. Then I pulled onto the road and drove toward the hotel, unable to forget the image of Rachel standing beside another man on national television. By the time I reached the hotel, Rachel was gone. I spent nearly an hour asking questions. Did you see this woman? I asked the receptionist while showing a photo. I'm sorry, sir. I can't give out guest information. Was she here tonight? I can't answer that. Every conversation ended the same way. I drove home with no answers. The next morning, I barely slept. Around 8 o'clock, the front door opened. Rachel walked inside. I stood immediately. Where were you? Rachel looked surprised. At work. I saw the news. Rachel froze for a second. Then Rachel sighed. I knew this was coming. Then explain it. Rachel dropped a purse onto the table. The media twisted everything. Twisted what? I was attending a business event. At a luxury hotel during a police investigation? Yes. I stared at Rachel. That's your explanation? It's the truth. What about the man standing beside you? One of the investors. That's all. That's all. I wanted to believe every word. Instead, something felt wrong. That evening, Noah sat beside me. Mom seems upset. She's just tired. Are you and Mom fighting? I forced a smile. No, everything is okay. The lie tasted bitter. For several days, I watched carefully. Rachel kept working late. Rachel guarded a phone more closely than ever. Whenever I entered a room, conversations suddenly ended. One night, while Rachel was showering, a notification appeared on the kitchen counter. I wasn't planning to look. Then another message arrived. And another. My stomach tightened. I glanced at the screen. The message disappeared before I could read everything. But I saw enough. Meet me tomorrow. Same place. My pulse quickened. When Rachel returned, I acted normal. Inside, doubt continued growing. The next afternoon, I called Daniel. Can you meet me? You sound terrible. I need help. An hour later, Daniel sat across from me. What's going on? Daniel asked. I told Daniel everything. The hotel, the news, the messages, the strange behavior. Daniel listened quietly. Finally, Daniel spoke. You think Rachel is lying. I don't want to. But you do. I nodded. What are you planning? I don't know. Then let's find facts. What if I'm wrong? Then you'll know. What if I'm right? Daniel looked away. Neither of us answered. 2 days later, another surprise arrived. I was reviewing household finances when I noticed unfamiliar transactions. Thousands of dollars had moved between accounts. I checked again. The transfers were real. That evening, I confronted Rachel. What are these payments? Rachel barely looked up. Work reimbursements. $10,000? Temporary transfers. Why didn't you tell me? Because it wasn't important. It feels important. Rachel's voice hardened. Do you trust me or not? The question hit me hard. I do. Then stop investigating everything. The conversation ended there. But my trust was beginning to crack. The next morning, I receive a call from an unknown number. Is this Ethan Carter? Yes. My name is Olivia Stone. Who? I'm a journalist. My heart skipped. Why are you calling me? I believe your wife may be connected to an ongoing investigation. I nearly hung up. Then Olivia continued. Please listen. What do you want? I want the truth. What truth? The truth about Victor Hale. The name instantly grabbed my attention. How do you know about that? Because I've been investigating Victor Hale for months. I stayed silent. Olivia lowered a voice. I think your wife is connected to people around Victor Hale. What people? Liam Brooks. I had never heard the name before. Who is Liam Brooks? A financial consultant. What does Liam Brooks have to do with Rachel? That's what I'm trying to confirm. I hesitated. Why call me? Because your wife appears repeatedly in records connected to Liam Brooks. The words felt like ice. Records? Meet me and I'll explain. That evening, I met Olivia at a quiet cafe. Olivia opened a folder. Inside were photographs, bank records, dates, names. My hands shook. This can't be real. I checked everything twice. I stared at one photograph. Rachel was entering a building. Another showed Rachel leaving with the same man from the news. Liam Brooks. Olivia nodded. How long? Almost a year. The room felt smaller. A year. I'm sorry. I couldn't speak. Every memory suddenly felt different. Every late night. Every excuse. Every promise. When I got home, Daniel was waiting. What happened? Daniel asked. I handed Daniel the folder. Daniel looked through it slowly. Oh no. That's exactly how I feel. What are you going to do? I have no idea. That night, I watched Rachel carefully. At 10 o'clock, Rachel left the house. I followed from a distance. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly they hurt. Rachel drove across town. Rachel parked outside an expensive apartment building. I stayed hidden. Seconds later, a man stepped outside. I immediately recognized him. The same man from the photographs. Liam Brooks. My breathing stopped. Rachel walked toward Liam Brooks. Without hesitation, Rachel wrapped both arms around Liam Brooks. And Liam Brooks held Rachel exactly the way a husband should hold a wife. In that moment, every remaining piece of my trust shattered. I barely slept after seeing Rachel in Liam Brooks's arms. The next morning, I waited in the kitchen. When Rachel walked inside, I spoke immediately. How long? Rachel froze. What? How long have you been seeing Liam Brooks? The color drained from Rachel's face. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then Rachel whispered, You followed me. I asked a question. Rachel sat down slowly. Ethan, how long? Almost a year. The answer hit harder than I expected. A year. I'm sorry. Sorry. I laughed bitterly. You lied to me for a year. I never wanted this to happen. Then why did it happen? Rachel covered her face. It's complicated. No, it's simple. You cheated. Rachel looked up. Yes. The single word shattered something inside me. I stared at Rachel. Was any of it real? What? Our marriage. Of course it was. Then explain Liam Brooks. Rachel took a deep breath. The affair isn't the worst part. My stomach tightened. What does that mean? Rachel hesitated. Then Rachel finally spoke. Liam Brooks works for Victor Hale. I felt cold. The same Victor Hale from the investigation? Yes. What does that have to do with you? Rachel looked away. Everything. I sat down. For the first time, I felt afraid of the answer. Tell me? Rachel nodded slowly. It started 2 years ago. Keep talking. Victor Hale offered opportunities. What kind of opportunities? Money. My chest tightened. What did you do? Rachel closed both eyes. I helped move money. I stared in disbelief. What? Liam Brooks created companies. What companies? Fake companies. The room became silent. I struggled to process the words. You're telling me you help criminals? Rachel nodded. It wasn't supposed to become this big. How much money? I don't know. You know. Rachel looked down. Millions. I stood abruptly. Millions? I was trapped. No. No, Rachel. I pointed toward the floor. You made choices. You don't understand. Then explain it. Rachel's voice rose. I wanted more. More than what? More than this life. The words hurt more than the affair. This life. Rachel gestured around the house. The bills, the stress, the constant struggle. We weren't struggling. We were surviving. I shook my head. So that's the reason? I wanted something better. We had a family. I know. No, you don't. My voice cracked. If you understood that, none of this would have happened. Rachel suddenly became angry. You think you're innocent? What? You were always working. I stared at Rachel. Don't do that. You never listened. Don't do that. You care more about spreadsheets than dreams. I slammed a hand onto the table. Don't blame me for your crimes. Rachel flinched. The room became silent again. Finally, Rachel whispered, I made mistakes. Mistakes? I laughed bitterly. An affair is a mistake. What I did was wrong. You destroyed our family. Tears filled Rachel's eyes. I wanted to feel sympathy. Instead, I felt exhausted. For the next several days, tension consumed the house. We barely spoke. Noah noticed immediately. One evening, Noah approached me. Dad. Yeah, buddy. Are you and Mom okay? I forced a smile. We're dealing with adult problems. Are you getting divorced? The question broke my heart. I don't know. Noah looked down. I just want everyone happy again. So do I. 2 mornings later, everything exploded. My phone rang before sunrise. Daniel sounded breathless. Turn on the television. What happened? Just do it. I grabbed the remote. Breaking news filled the screen. Federal agents were entering Victor Hale's headquarters. Reporters crowded the entrance. The headline made my stomach drop. Federal raid connected to financial fraud investigation. Minutes later, I heard the front door open. Rachel? No answer. I checked the bedroom. Empty. I checked the driveway. Rachel's car was gone. Rachel had disappeared. By afternoon, another visitor arrived. A woman showed identification. Mr. Carter? Yes. I'm Detective Sarah Collins. My pulse quickened. Why are you here? I need to ask questions about Rachel Carter. I stepped aside. Sarah entered. Is Rachel here? No. When did you last see Rachel? Last night. Sarah nodded. Rachel may be involved in an ongoing federal investigation. I laughed bitterly. I already figured that out. Sarah studied me carefully. Do you know where Rachel went? No. I need you to contact me if Rachel reaches out. I will. Before leaving, Sarah handed me a card. Then another disaster arrived. Several bank accounts suddenly became inaccessible. I spent hours making calls. Finally, a representative explained the situation. Those accounts have been frozen. Frozen? Due to an active investigation. I closed my eyes. Noah needed food. Bills needed payment. My entire life was collapsing. The worst part wasn't losing money. The worst part was watching neighbors stare. People whispered. People judged. People assumed I was involved. Days later, Detective Sarah Collins called again. I found something. What? You should see it yourself. That evening, Sarah showed me security footage from Victor Hale's office. I watched the screen carefully. Then my heart stopped. Rachel appeared in the video. Rachel entered a private office. Rachel opened a secure cabinet. Rachel removed several files and a hard drive. Then Rachel walked away. I looked at Sarah. What does this mean? Sarah's expression turned grim. It means Rachel didn't run away empty-handed. I stared at the screen as my last hope disappeared. The woman I loved hadn't simply vanished. The woman I loved had taken evidence and disappeared with it. After seeing the security footage, I stopped searching for excuses. Rachel had made choices. Now I had to make mine. My first responsibility was Noah. One morning, Noah sat across from me at breakfast. Dad, are things going to be okay? I looked at my son carefully. They will. Really? Yes. You promise? I promise. For the first time in weeks, I meant it. Later that day, my mother visited. You look different, my mother said. Different how? Stronger. I smiled slightly. I don't feel strong. Strength isn't about feelings. What is it about? Getting up every morning when life gives you reasons to stay down. I nodded. Maybe my mother was right. That evening, Daniel and Emily invited Noah and me for dinner. You need people around you, Emily said. I know. Noah deserves normal moments. I know that too. Daniel handed me a drink. How are you really doing? I thought for a moment. I'm tired. Tired of Rachel? Tired of anger. Daniel nodded. That's progress. What do you mean? You've spent weeks wanting revenge. And now you're thinking about survival. For the first time, I realized Daniel was right. I wasn't dreaming about exposing Rachel anymore. I wasn't imagining dramatic confrontations. I simply wanted peace. A few days later, Detective Sarah Collins called. I have updates. What kind? Victor Hale's network is falling apart. I sat up straighter. What happened? People are talking. Who? Liam Brooks. The name immediately caught my attention. Liam Brooks is cooperating? Yes. I laughed bitterly. So Liam Brooks betrayed everyone. Looks that way. What about Rachel? Sarah paused. Rachel has problems. What kind of problems? The serious kind. After hanging up, I received another call. This time it was Olivia Stone. Have you heard the latest news? Olivia asked. About Liam Brooks? Yes. Detective Collins told me. Olivia sighed. Liam Brooks gave investigators names, records, and financial information. What about Victor Hale? Victor Hale is trying to save himself. I shook my head. So Victor Hale abandoned Rachel. Completely? The irony wasn't lost on me. Rachel had betrayed a family for people who abandoned Rachel the moment trouble arrived. Days passed. The investigation dominated every news channel. Every headline revealed another scandal. Every report exposed another lie. Meanwhile, Rachel remained missing. One evening, Sarah called again. We believe Rachel is moving between different locations. Is Rachel safe? Sarah sounded surprised. After everything, that's your question? I looked toward Noah's room. I don't know what I feel anymore. Sarah became quiet. Finally, Sarah said, Rachel is running from law enforcement and former associates. What does that mean? It means Rachel has enemies. The conversation stayed with me all night. I should have felt satisfied. Instead, I felt empty. Then everything changed. At nearly midnight, my phone rang. The number was blocked. I almost ignored it. Something told me not to. Hello. Silence. Then I heard a familiar voice. Ethan. My heart stopped. Rachel? Yes. I stood immediately. Where are you? I can't tell you. Why are you calling? Rachel's breathing sounded uneven. I need help. The word shocked me. Help. I'm in trouble. I laughed bitterly. Now you're in trouble? Ethan, please. No. Please listen. I closed my eyes. Against my better judgment, I listened. Liam Brooks betrayed me. I know. Victor Hale abandoned me. I know. I'm alone. The fear in Rachel's voice sounded real. For a moment, I remember happier days. Then I remembered the lies. What do you want from me? I don't know. That's not an answer. Rachel began crying. The sound hurt more than I expected. I'm scared. I remained silent. I don't know who to trust. I almost said something cruel. Instead, I asked why call me. Because you were the only person who ever truly cared. The statement made me angry. You should have remembered that earlier. I know. No, Rachel. You don't. I do. You destroyed everything. I know. You lied. I know. You betrayed Noah. The silence that followed felt heavy. Finally, Rachel whispered, I think about Noah every day. I sat down slowly. Part of me wanted Rachel to suffer. Part of me wanted to hang up. Part of me remembered the woman I had loved for years. The conflict felt unbearable. What happens now? I asked. I don't know. Running forever isn't possible. I know. You need to surrender. Rachel laughed weakly. And then what? You tell the truth. No one will believe me. Detective Collins might. Rachel stayed quiet. Then Rachel asked, would you come if I agreed? What? If I surrender, would you meet me first? I hesitated. The request felt dangerous. Yet something told me this conversation mattered. Why? Because I owe you the truth. You owe me more than that. I know. The sadness in Rachel's voice sounded genuine. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Finally, Rachel took a deep breath. Okay. Okay, what? I'll do it. Do what? I'll surrender. I closed my eyes. For the first time in months, the end felt possible. When I asked, tomorrow, and you'll stay? Yes. No running. No running. I exhaled slowly. Then I'll meet you. Thank you. The line went quiet. Then Rachel spoke one final sentence. Tomorrow will be the last time we ever see each other before everything changes. The call ended, leaving me staring at the phone as I prepared for one final meeting with the woman who had destroyed our lives. The next afternoon, I drove to the location Rachel had given me. An abandoned cabin stood beside a quiet lake. For a moment, I sat inside my car. Then I stepped out. Rachel was already waiting. The sight shocked me. Rachel looked exhausted. The confidence I once knew was gone. When Rachel saw me, tears immediately filled tired eyes. Thank you for coming. I almost didn't. I wouldn't blame you. For several seconds, neither of us moved. Finally, I spoke. You said you owed me the truth. I do. Then start talking. Rachel nodded. I was greedy. The honesty surprised me. I wanted more money. I remained silent. I wanted status. Rachel looked toward the lake. I wanted people to admire me. And Liam Brooks gave you that? At first, I crossed my arms. What really happened? Rachel took a slow breath. Liam Brooks knew exactly what to say. Meaning, Liam Brooks made me feel important. I listened quietly. Liam Brooks promised opportunities. Opportunities to commit crimes. Yes. The answer came without hesitation. When did you realize it was wrong? I always knew. I stared at Rachel. Then why continue? Rachel wiped away tears. Because every bad decision made the next one easier. The words felt painfully true. What about our family? I loved you. I laughed bitterly. Love doesn't look like betrayal. I know. What about Noah? Rachel lowered a head. Thinking about Noah is the hardest part. I felt anger rising again. You should have thought about Noah before everything collapsed. I should have. The admission removed some of my anger. Not because Rachel deserved forgiveness. Because excuses were finally gone. No blame. No lies. Only truth. Rachel looked directly at me. I blamed you before. Yes. I was wrong. I said nothing. You worked hard for us. I did. You weren't perfect. I know that. But my choices were my responsibility. For the first time since all this began, I believed Rachel meant every word. A distant siren echoed somewhere far away. Rachel heard it too. They're coming. You knew they would. Yes. Then why call me here? Rachel's voice became softer. Because I couldn't leave without saying this. I waited. I'm sorry. The words hung in the air. I know sorry is enough. No, it isn't. I know. I looked at the lake. For months, anger had controlled me. Every morning, every night, every thought. I had imagined revenge. I had imagined Rachel suffering. I had imagined victory. Yet standing there, none of those things mattered. The hatred felt heavy, and I was tired of carrying it. Rachel spoke again. Can you ever forgive me? The question hurt. Not because I didn't know the answer. Because I finally did. I took a deep breath. I don't excuse what happened. Rachel nodded silently. I don't excuse the lies. Another nod. I don't excuse the affair. Tears rolled down Rachel's face. But I don't want to hate you anymore. Rachel looked up. What does that mean? It means I'm letting go. More tears appeared. Why? Because my anger is hurting me more than you. Rachel covered her mouth. I continued. I deserve peace. You do. Noah deserves peace too. Yes. I closed my eyes briefly. I forgive you. Rachel began crying openly. Not dramatic tears. Not manipulative tears. Just sadness. Pure sadness. Thank you. Those 2 words carried years of pain. Minutes later, several vehicles approached the cabin. Rachel noticed them first. It's time. I nodded. Detective Sarah Collins stepped out of the lead vehicle. Sarah approached carefully. Rachel Carter? Rachel straightened. Yes. Are you surrendering voluntarily? Yes. Sarah looked toward me. Then Sarah returned attention to Rachel. Do you understand your rights? I do. Rachel extended both hands. There was no resistance, no running, no excuses, only acceptance. Before leaving, Rachel turned toward me one final time. Take care of Noah. I will. Tell Noah I love him. I'll tell Noah the truth when the time is right. Rachel nodded. Then Rachel left with Detective Collins. And just like that, a chapter of my life ended. Months passed. The investigation continued. Rachel cooperated completely. According to Olivia Stone, Rachel provided records, passwords, and testimony. The information destroyed Victor Hale's organization. Victor Hale received severe punishment. Liam Brooks lost money, reputation, and freedom. The empire they built collapsed piece by piece. Meanwhile, I focused on Noah. One evening, Noah and I played basketball together. Dad. Yeah. You smile more now. The comment surprised me. Do I? Definitely. I laughed. Maybe that's a good sign. I think so. Life wasn't perfect, but life was finally honest. That mattered more. Several months later, a letter arrived. I recognized the handwriting immediately. Rachel. I sat alone and opened it. The message was simple. Rachel expressed regret. Rachel apologized again. Rachel wished happiness for Noah and me. When I finished reading, I folded the letter carefully. I didn't cry. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel revenge. I simply felt closure. I placed the letter inside a drawer and closed it. Then I walked outside. The evening sun stretched across the sky. For a long moment, I stood there thinking about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the lies, the pain, the survival. In the end, I finally understood something important. True victory was never revenge. True victory was surviving the destruction, healing from the wounds, protecting the people I loved, and becoming stronger than the betrayal that once nearly destroyed me.